Hello, everyone. This is Max here on the Quai account. I'm inviting all of our speakers up today. Super excited for this space. We've got Curvance up here. They're going to be sharing a ton about what they're doing. Super excited. We'll let everyone jump in, give it a couple minutes. I'll bring everyone up as a speaker and we'll get this thing started.
Cool. Do we have everybody? Oh no, we're just waiting on Michael.
Hello, hello.
Cool. What's going on, Mai? Or Chris?
Just in the trenches here, trying to get everything ready here.
Sweet. Well, we can go ahead and get started. Just gonna kind of do a warm welcome to everyone back to another episode of Quai Fridays. We've got Curvance and the Curvance team here with us. Super excited to do this one and kind of chat about what they're doing over at Curvance and kind of the state of DeFi in general. On our side, we've got our CMO Raleigh, community manager Veronica, and then Max is on the Quai Network account. And then Chris, Michael, I will kind of let you guys, or I would love to let you guys kind of introduce yourselves, as well as kind of just introduce Curvance to our audience.
Cool. I could. You want to start here, Mike? Actually,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Mike, co-founder of Curvance. I'm working on this thing for quite some time and excited for what the Quai boys are building. Pass it over to Chris.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the other co-founder of Curvance. Doing a lot on the kind of architectural design, coding side, and working on getting some cool tech out there for everyone.
Cool. And then I think Tay also, feel free to introduce yourself if you want, from the Curvance account.
Hey everyone, it's Tay from the Curvance account. I'm the marketing lead. Looking forward to hearing this chat.
Oh, sweet. We got the marketing guy, Raleigh. I'm sure Raleigh will have a few questions for you. But yeah, I think if you guys, whoever wants to start, can we just get like a broad kind of overview of Curvance and like what you guys have been working towards this whole time you've been building this protocol, and like what you're excited for Curvance to do in the future when you go live?
I could break it down, give some 30,000 foot view,
Yeah, that's perfect.
kind of view of it. So yeah, Curvance basically is, and we have a lot of stuff in the future, but on a release, the goal is to basically supercharge like a lot of more exotic or yield bearing or long tail, whatever you want to call it, assets. Basically, things that you have in DeFi, in crypto, that generate returns over some, for doing something, whether that be providing liquidity or providing security. We probably support it. And then we really abstract away a lot of the complexities and kind of more nuance for those DeFi strategies or DeFi usage, so that kind of anyone could do it. Because I think a lot of people are aware of DeFi and that there's like a lot of opportunities in this kind of new industry, but they might be a little intimidated, or they might not have the right knowledge. And we're kind of building Curvance to solve that kind of market dislocation, if you will. And then we have a lot of kind of innovations on the technical space that we could go into later, but a lot of just kind of seamless execution, really efficient code, and high levels of security.
Dude, that's awesome. So it seems like you guys are just trying to make like really solid improvements in bringing DeFi and some of the more complicated aspects of DeFi to normal, non super technical users. Was there any kind of like specific event or time in the crypto space that specifically inspired you guys to start working on this and start working on solving this problem of kind of simplifying and bringing utility to regular users in DeFi?
Yeah, honestly, it was when Convex came out. Before Convex came out, I was using various, just lending protocols, Compound, Aave, to borrow against my ETH stack. And then I would go play with all the degenerate DeFi protocols with the borrowed money. And eventually, when Convex came out, I moved like almost all my portfolio over, honestly. And yeah, I was like, why can't I borrow against these? And that was pretty much the start of it.
That's kind of cool. It could come the creation from experience and from seeing the friction in the market. That's, I mean, honestly, where the best products come from is where you actually experience the problem. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, over the last year and change that we've been building this, it's really gone through a lot of iterations. As Mike said, it kind of started as this single solution, and it's really, just kept growing. And it's been one of those things where now it's kind of become this, juggernaut where it's like, well, if I want to interact with DeFi, like what do I need to do? What would be in my purview there, and how do I fit this into Curvance, right? So it's kind of the everything app from, I guess, from my perspective, like what I would want from an app. And I think because we're approaching it from that direction, it makes it a lot better for the user, because it's not just like making up a problem and then trying to solve that problem. It's like, what can't I do right now that I want to be able to do?
I mean, that's exactly where successful companies come from. Is you build a product to solve a problem, not create the problem. And then you guys already have the PMF prior to actually creating the product, which is cool. When did you guys kind of start working on this? Because I'd like to kind of hear like how it progressed from like this Mike having like an issue with moving stuff in DeFi and like being able to interact with stuff into the juggernaut that it is today.
Yeah, so it's been quite the journey. I always tell this story, but basically, when it first started, I was basically just sitting there. I'd came up with a name for this thing and got some branding done, and it started working on like the original white paper. And it was like the tail end of the last bull market, so Curve Wars was still like the main topic of discussion in DeFi. And I put in like the little description box on a Twitter placeholder that I set up, which is the Curvance account, basically just lending for Curve, Convex, and Urine assets, right? And somehow, some way, it basically blew up from there. I think it was Banteg from Urine that originally followed it, and it circulated. Awesome. Yeah, it circulated through like Degen Score and Lobster DAO, and Curve tweeted some eyeballs at us, like the eyeball emoji. And so like I'm sitting there like by myself, right? And the white paper is not even like a quarter of the way done. And I have like 5,000 followers and people trying to throw money at it. So it was kind of crazy. And it took a really long time to find the right team, put the right people in place, which kind of leads to how the product evolved. It started as just this convex lending idea, and then it grew with every new person that joined, until eventually Mai joined on. And that was probably, I don't know what, like a year and a half ago.
It was May of last year. So it's like now we just entered September. So we're starting the 16th month. So it's been a while.
Yeah. And that's
awesome.
I'd say that's when like the real development started. Because at that point, I basically had the Giga Brain enter the scene to take it to the next level and kind of see it as this new model, kind of like taking the original vision and just elevating it a ton. So it's grown to, it started off like, okay, well, yeah, we can do the Curve Convex. Like, what other protocols can we attach? And it's like, we can probably support Velodrome stuff. Okay, well, that means we have to go omni-chain. So how do we do that? It's like, okay, well, what are the problems with omni-chain protocols, and how do you remove fragmentation from the experience for the user? And that's pretty much like the trajectory, and it just snowballed from there. Chris architected and coded a lot of it, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I think what helped a lot is that we're in this kind of deep bear market here, as we watch the market crash more today, and we're not necessarily in a hurry to get this out there. As he was just saying, it's we're through 15 months of development time here, and one of the benefits of that is we got to kind of see what what has kind of survived and thrived in like the most difficult conditions, and what's kind of blown up or fizzled out, or basically what's all the good stuff that's working right now and what's not working so much, and then we can kind of see where we fit into that. And it's like, well, actually, this is working better, than this other thing. So we should change to the thing that's been, working. And then how do we take that to the next level? To have like a even more improved model, if you will. So that can go for things like how we've structured our token, our ecosystem, like different features. We've kind of done that across the board, where we, have our finger on the pulse here for, everything that's out there, and kind of seen how we can, go one step further, in each of these categories.
No, it's awesome. And I think the rest of our team could probably speak to this as well, but we've kind of Quai has kind of been built in a similar situation where we've not been in a huge rush to get things out, like trying to keep a finger on the pulse and what's going well in the ecosystem as a whole. I know you guys are more, DeFi specific, but it's been very interesting to live and build through this bear market and try and understand what protocols are doing right, what they're doing wrong, and build to kind of a remedy or build upon that. So it's been a lot of fun. And then kind of having built and watched through this kind of wild bear market, we've seen a couple of black swan events to say. What has been your guys' kind of stance or learnings from the whole Curve, because you guys are specifically working with protocols like Curve? What is your guys' opinion, learnings on what happened? I want to say last month.
Yeah, so I think definitely Curve was a good, period to look at. There's also been, Curvance does a lot of things. And I think one of the kind of like tangential PMFs that we have is like people that kind of want to get heavier exposure to stuff via like leverage. And we've seen, and I'll start there first and then go back to the Curve example. There's been a lot of these kind of, I would say, more degen-esque, like leveraged or heavier exposure platforms that pop up, all over the place on Ethereum, on Arbitrum, Optimism, wherever you look. And they always see like a lot of usage, and almost always they get bopped for some, exploit of some sort. They didn't properly configure their Oracle, or, there's some kind of complex business logic that they got to, manipulate, their account balance, or, all these different things. And we basically look at all those. One of the things that I do every time I see these kind of events is I wait for, the post-mortem, or look into it myself. I talk with, other security researchers in the space. And, we always look at like what happened, what went wrong, and then, kind of see like, well, do we have any exposure to this, right? Is there something that we're missing here? Is this kind of similar to other exploits that we looked at, or is it something new? And, we kind of almost have this internal checklist of like, okay, let's make sure we're not exposed to this. Let's make sure we're not exposed to this, and so on and so on. And that's helped a lot with, making sure that like structurally, we haven't had any major issues, because we're in our first security audit right now. And I think one of the biggest worries when you're in that is like you give them the code, and then they say this just doesn't work because of this, like, exploit, or the numbers, don't match, or whatever. And we haven't had that at all, which is really great, because those are the scariest. They call them critical vulnerabilities. We've had stupid stuff where, we're not properly validating something, and, the obvious like mistakes, and that's why you do multiple audits. But we've been able to fix those, and knock on wood, we haven't had any structural issues because we've done this. And, I include Curve in that too. It was a really good litmus test for like, well, if we were live right now and we were supporting Curve stuff, would we have gone screwed, right? And we could kind of go down the list, like, okay, so people have had like the prices manipulated. Well, we're, not exposed to that because we have this, kind of more secure Oracle system. Okay, well, we wouldn't have supported any of these pools because we're supporting their newest NG pools that they're currently putting through multiple audits. We don't have any ETH-based stuff because we convert everything to ERC20 tokens to minimize, just like different potential attack vectors. So you could kind of go down the checklist, and you get to the end of it, and you're like, wow, we would have been totally fine here. And I think that's really reassuring for us to be able to do that. Kind of again, looking in on like DeFi right now, and all the kind of black swan events that have happened, and having that kind of confidence and also opportunity to continually improve on what we're putting together.
No, that's really awesome, and I can see why Mike calls you the Giga Brain. He came in to take things to the next step. It's cool that you guys have kind of gotten to vicariously live through all of these exploits and ensure that I don't mean that to sound odd, but being able to strengthen your own protocol through kind of the learnings and issues that other protocols have had in the recent year or so. But yeah, I think now I kind of want to maybe take a little bit of a pivot on some of the DeFi security stuff and kind of go a little bit into more of what you guys are currently doing right now. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but are you guys running a testnet?
Not yet. Soon TM.
Okay, soon TM.
So we're currently we finished our first audit, which was more optimizing the business logic and implementation to be more efficient, so it costs people less money to use it. So that'd be like a gas optimization audit is what it's called. And then the second one that we're on now is a security audit. So that's like, is it secure? Does it work how you intended? Are there any attack vectors? Like the actual core, the stuff you really worry about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's currently going to end October 2nd. But what we want to do is as we're going through all these audits, right now we're on 2 of 6. We want to run this, as you said, this test net in parallel. And currently we're aiming to have something up by the end of September. I mean, it's possible that, it bleeds a week or 2 later, just because we're still we have, a few things going on. We're building the actual DApp, the application for people to use. And then, obviously fixing issues as they come up in the current audit. But I'm pretty confident that we're at the tail end of this now, and we'll be able to have kind of like a staged rollout of sorts, where it's like, day one, it's not going to be everything, obviously, but I think that's almost better for people, because they get to try something small, and then maybe a week or 2 later we add more, and then a week or 2 later we add more, and then a week or 2 later we add more, and suddenly, 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months have passed, and now we have everything working like a well-oiled machine on that testnet implementation. And then we can open it up for like open registration for all users. So we're doing like a smaller segmented testnet initially for basically our early adopters and partner roles, partner projects. And then we're going to, have this second, phase, I guess, if you want to call it that, with the open registration. So, and we are exploring like a third thing with like a very tiny collaboration with another protocol to showcase some of our tech. But
that's awesome.
lots of, I know that's kind of very descriptive and maybe not super good on the timeline aspect, but we're trying to keep people involved as we're working behind the scenes on actually getting this together and then rolling it out for people to use.
No, absolutely. I totally understand. And that's awesome to hear that you guys have big things coming on the pipeline. We have a testnet coming up here on September 19th, and we're going to be doing kind of the same phased rollout that you guys will be doing, obviously in a bit of a different manner, but just trying to make sure that each small piece works as it should, and then moving on to the next and giving users and miners and everybody a chance to experiment with one small thing at a time. And I think that kind of works out best in the long run, hype-wise and just actual functionality-wise. But yeah.
Not to interrupt, Judy, but we have a community member requesting to speak. I don't know if y'all want to take a community question right now, but if you would, I can bring them up.
Yeah. Do you want to hold off until we kind of finish up on our end, and then we can pull everybody up for community questions?
Absolutely. We'll do those at the end. So if you want to ask a question, stick around. We'll bring everyone up. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then I kind of want to bring Raleigh into this as he is the marketing expert. But I want to bring up a little bit about marketing. What are your guys' kind of big marketing initiatives moving forward? Because I know Mike kind of said that it was like put up a Twitter handle and it was just craziness on Twitter, and that's really awesome to hear. And I love that's how that you guys kind of got started on the social front. But do you guys have any big pushes upcoming or anything?
Yeah,
Like that?
I mean, I actually just finalized our go-to-market strategy with one of the other guys not on the call today, but that could probably take a while to go through. But yeah, I think the biggest piece is, we're thankfully we've been very blessed with like a lot of excitement, as you said, and a lot of people that want to work with us. And I think we want to definitely work with other people too. So I think it's about bringing other communities in and also kind of showcasing a lot of what we offer in the form of like I would say like long form content, whether that be us kind of writing literature of what we kind of put together, open sourcing some of it, and kind of I would say showcasing here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, and here's why you should care type stuff, as well as kind of more conventional collaboration between communities. Obviously we're happy to talk to other groups and also put together. One of the things that I liked yesterday, we had a conversation with 5 or 6 communities about liquid staking tokens, and we kind of talked through everyone's views on it, how everyone's kind of pushing that forward, and where we see it going in the future. And I think a lot of things like that are really I would say interesting to people, because right now the market's really quiet, and you don't want to just do a ton of one-on-one community to community conversations and just kind of talk about the same stuff. It's cool to kind of have these independent topics and then explore things together. I think as we go through the audits, the testnet will definitely be an exciting piece, as people can mess around with stuff, provide feedback, and people that are very deeply involved and provide valuable feedback and engage in the beta. The official release will definitely be rewarded with like the incentivized airdrop. And we're also partnering with, I would say, a lot of different established groups to kind of work on some pretty cool like structured products and stuff, and we'll be talking about that stuff more in the future. And I think that'll be another thing that's pretty exciting to people. But I mean, there's also the whole kind of more conventional marketing side that frankly is above my pay grade here. So that's other people on the team can we'll be managing that. I don't know if maybe Tay or Mike want to talk on that a little bit, but if not, no worries there. But more conventional marketing stuff too.
Yeah, I can touch lightly on it, I suppose, here.
Yeah,
So
that's perfect.
one of the things that we did more recently, which has been super cool, we work with a group called Mainline, and they basically can run analysis on Twitter and see like, basically who your core audience is in terms of like the individual accounts that are, your ideal target customer. And then you can run like potential competitor analysis. You can structure, promoted campaigns using those like targeted accounts in different jurisdictions. So I've been kind of just playing around with that behind the scenes, nothing crazy, talking about like $10 a day and stuff in promotion, but just kind of monkeying around with that and seeing if, that becomes a viable means of growing the socials and, getting the messaging out there more. And then of course, like, Galaxy campaign and stuff like Chris mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of marketing, and Raleigh can definitely speak to this as well, is just experimentation until you find something that works. And we've definitely seen that over the past year and a half, is just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that something sticks and we get a big boost off of it. And it seems like you guys have kind of followed the same philosophy, and it's cool to watch that happen alongside.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
and then go ahead, Riley.
Pleasure to meet y'all, by the way. Mike, just you wanna go deeper on that as far as whenever you're talking about that spend, are you on Twitter only, or are you guys looking at other platforms?
Yeah, just on Twitter. It's really just taking like organic tweets, and expanding like the reach that they get. So, we'll post like a partner thread, for example, and it breaks down kind of how we're working with them, what the integration looks like, why it's important. Um, and then, we tweet it out, and then a couple days later, we can use the aggregated data from Mainline to basically put that in front of our target audience that might be outside of our current follower list, right? So it's not like advertising per se. It's more so just boosting. But it's cool. It's just super low numbers and just kind of playing with it and seeing what works.
Yeah,
Very
I
cool.
think one of the things we've been doing in regards to like outreach outside of Twitter is we've actually had a lot of like inbound interest on things like podcasts and stuff like that. So we've been teeing up like a lot of participation with like groups that want to have us on and kind of like talking about what we're building, the future of DeFi, stuff like that. So we've been pretty lucky on that front, I would say, and I think long form content in the form of just kind of talking through stuff, via podcasts and stuff like that, which is a lot of times outside of out of Twitter. Although Twitter is definitely growing on that front too, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify podcasts, stuff like that as well. I think that for us, the biggest piece is like we want to touch on all these different areas, and the most important piece is like building a core community, which I think is pretty easy for us via having this clear market segment, as Mike touched on. There's a lot of people that are touching, say the Curve ecosystem or the Balancer ecosystem or the Velodrome ecosystem, or liquid staking, or real world assets, and a lot of the areas that we're looking at long term. And a lot of these people want to kind of automate a lot of that stuff. They want to boost their yields. They want to kind of set it and forget it in the way you would with like a traditional finance approach. And I think we can really build like a solid core community around that aspect. And right now we're just kind of figuring out, because Twitter is a very loud place, like what that community looks like. Where are they, and how do we tap into it? And I think we've been very fortunate to just organically have a lot of those people join. But obviously, the bigger the community, the better, I would say.
Absolutely. Sorry to cut you off, Judy. Don't know if you had a follow-up.
No. Go ahead and ask.
Yeah, so I'm just curious if you guys could expand more on why partnering with Quai, and then between our ecosystem and our user base, what are you hoping to uh, achieve with this partnership?
Yeah, I think from our perspective, we're very like kind of, I would say, chain agnostic in terms of the underlying. Like a lot of chains are kind of funneling towards this like EVM compatibility, without getting I guess too technical. And obviously you guys fit into that, so it's like a logical extension. Yes, you guys are working with like a kind of newer novel security model, which is pretty interesting to us, but we don't have to necessarily like I'll give the example of something like Starknet or another platform where you have to basically one to one convert all code, which is kind of not feasible for us in the short term. So that one to one compatibility, and just being like, yeah, when Quai's live and the DeFi ecosystem matures, we can jump in with both feet without like a huge lead time of having to hire new engineers and rewrite everything and re-audit everything and so on. So I think that's definitely a really big plus for Quai, looking at the current DeFi landscape. And I think you guys have tapped into like a very different market segment in general too, which is going to do you guys really well. And the reason I say that is there's a lot, the kind of layer two, alt L1 kind of user base is very, I guess, fragmented at this point, right? Like there's another, half a dozen Ethereum layer twos coming out this year. And they're kind of fighting over the same users, the same liquidity. And then you're coming out with a novel solution around, basically a sharded proof of work that I think speaks to a whole other audience of individuals that might not have, found something that they kind of have a lot of confidence in or interest in, or feel speaks to them. So I think that's going to do you guys really well. So I think from our perspective, it's like, we don't have to tear everything apart to support you guys, and you guys are doing a great job, and I think you guys have frankly put together an awesome team. And we've been talking to you guys for a long time as you guys have been building out your solution. So we're excited to definitely help you guys, expand, your DeFi landscape.
That means a lot. It's been good getting to definitely tap into that different side of the crypto ecosystem, especially in the alt L1 space, but also just getting to kind of build alongside with you guys and just have conversations about things going on in the ecosystem that you guys are subject matter experts on. So it's been good. It's been a fun partnership, fun relationship across the board. And then, go ahead, Riley.
No, I was going to ask, how did you guys, for the sake of our audience, how did this conversation start? This partnership? When did you first learn about Quai? What attracted you initially, and what was that story like?
Yeah, I think I met you guys for the first time at the pitch competition that ATX DAO was putting on back in, I think, February or March, something like that. Got one of the iconic Quai hats, and then the next time I saw you guys, I think I was flying out of Austin to Denver for ETH Denver, and I was wearing the Quai hat, and of course ran into you guys again there. So that was kind of how it worked out. We had the same flight, and then we got to talking during Denver, and then stayed in touch after the fact. But yeah, it's been super cool.
So what I'm hearing is the Quai hat is what got you?
Yeah, for sure. I have a Quai hat collection at this point. It's nice.
Which
That's
one was
awesome.
it? We kind of do a unique drop every order, so I'm curious which hat
It
you
was
got first.
it was the snapback, just black with white, like the patch on the front.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna use that logo anymore, so that is a rarity.
Oh, good. I got a collector's item.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I think I've got kind of one last overarching question, and then we'll probably start bringing up anybody who has questions, or I'll have Max bring them on up if that's cool with you guys. So kind of beyond launch, this is kind of a question more for the DeFi space as a whole, but what is Curvance's long-term vision for the DeFi space? Like, how do you see the protocol evolving over time and kind of growing into the ecosystem as you guys start connecting yourselves to each of these different ecosystems and protocols and building with and on top of all of them?
Yeah, I think, long term, we want to see what, kind of people enjoy or use Curvance the most for, right? And then double down on those areas. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing to me is I kind of have this long term vision of like the everything app for lending in DeFi. So we're day one tapping into a market segment that historically hasn't been very there's no kind of like trusted partner in that space, So I think we want to fill that space first, and then we can look at expanding into other verticals in the lending, money market space over time. So that's like the core side, and then we're also exploring, additional things on top of Curvance, with Curvance being that kind of base layer of technology, and then expanding outward beyond just one-to-one like lending solutions.
Oh, it's awesome to hear. I think thinking about it as a base layer is very cool. I'm excited to see what you guys continue to build on top of after launch, or continue to like add products and everything after launch. But Max, do we have any community questions that we want to bring up?
I don't see anyone right now, but if anyone wants to request to speak, has any questions for the Curvance teams, or anyone from our team here at Dominant Strategies, put your hand up, request. We'd love to hear what y'all have to ask.
Yeah.
Give it like a couple seconds and see if anyone has anything.
I have a personal question. Are you guys going to be making like plushies of your little whatever the ROM card is, so like the mascot you guys have on your website? Yes, Floppy. Sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
I want one of those. The dude is so cute.
Yeah, we've actually talked with a distributor already, but the biggest thing was that there's like a minimum for amount of floppies we need. So we just want to, get a little bit further along where we know that, all the floppies will find homes. Well, so yes, it's 100% in the cards.
Perfect. I know me and Max will definitely make some homes for some floppies.
Absolutely. I'm trying to scroll through the comments right now, see if we have any questions, but I'm not seeing anything right now. So if y'all want to, oh wait, no, nothing good right now. But if y'all have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm sure the Curvance team will be looking at this, and we'll be taking a look after as well. So, yeah, if you want to wrap it up, Judy, I don't see any questions.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us for Quai Fridays. I really wanted to thank all of you guys from the Curvance team for hopping up and kind of giving us a cool insight into the future of Curvance and the future of liquidity in DeFi. So it's been very much a pleasure.
Yeah, I want to say thanks again. Yeah, everyone for being here, Curvance guys. It's been a blast. Everyone for listening, joining in. We always have fun doing these Quai Fridays, learning about new projects. And Curvance, thank you guys so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to y'all soon.
Pleasure talking to you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.